Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. The boss, Dale Cooper, is our producer today. We do the show each Monday through Friday from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show, 580 Live, is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. We're in Chevy truck season. If you're ready for the truck that can handle any job, check out the new 2024 Chevy Silverado. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or a $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. See them for all the details. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. We're on the road to total savings. Thornhill GM Superstore, US 119 in Chapmanville. As I said, we do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. Store number 236 is now open. 11062 Turnpike Road in Drennan, West Virginia. That's in Nicholas County. Also, don't forget, between now and Mother's Day, purchase a Mother's Day heart from your favorite Par-Mar store. All proceeds benefit the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. And if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Coming up this morning, Ryan White. He's a candidate for the West Virginia Intermediate Court of Appeals. He'll be joining us a little bit later on, as will West Virginia gubernatorial candidate Chris Miller, and Lera VanMeter, who is a candidate for family court judge in Kanawha County. And as always, your calls and texts are welcome too. Christian Wells is a current member of the Putnam County Board of Education. He'd like to be reelected to that position. He joins us now via the Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline. Christian, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, you're a current member of the board, as I said, and you hope to be reelected to that position. But before we get there, let's talk about you. Give us the bio on Christian Wells.
Okay. I was born and raised in Putnam County. I've lived here pretty much all my life. I'm a general contractor. My wife is a teacher. I have two kids. They both go to Winfield. My wife and I both graduated from Winfield. My daughter is a sophomore at Winfield High School, and my son's a sixth grader at Winfield Middle School. We are heavily involved in church and sports, and don't know what to do most evenings because we're so busy. So,
a lot of parents would echo that. Talk about your time on the board. Talk about what the experience has been like.
Well, it's been a good experience, I think. I mean, I hope it's been a great experience for the teachers and students of Putnam County. During my time on the board, I've been part of the voting to make Putnam County teachers the highest paid teachers in the state. We've also voted to extend health care into retirement for our teachers. I recently received the Teachers Union, the AFT Putnam Teachers Union endorsement. And if everybody will remember, back during COVID, we were the first county to get our kids back to school. So I feel like my time on the board has been fruitful. Really love to get the opportunity to get back on there again for another 4 years.
You know, Christian, Putnam County is known for some of the best schools in the state, period. And I mean, seriously, as you know, people actually move to Putnam County in many cases just so their kids can go to the schools in Putnam County. We're seeing it already with Nucor. You're on the ground there. What makes Putnam County schools so good and so appealing to parents?
Well, I believe we've done a good job over the years of getting the best teachers. The greatness, iron sharpens iron. You get great teachers in here. Everything gets better. Everything gets better. And as you know, all ships rise with the rising tide. But as we continue to get better teachers in here, more and more good teachers want to get in here, and people see that. They recognize that as a great education here in Putnam County. So they want to send their kids here. One of my son's best friends is a Nucor kid. Moved in here from Indiana. Now his dad drives all the way from Rocky Step here in Putnam County all the way out to Mason County for the job. They could have gone to Mason County schools, but they chose Putnam County for a reason. That's because we have the best school system.
Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Hudson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Hudson's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of cinnamon bites with icing. Only $20.99 at your favorite Hudson locations. Christian, I mentioned this yesterday with someone who's running for election for the board in Kanawha County. It's not easy being a board member now. I mean, you had COVID to deal with. You mentioned that earlier. Then charter schools, more parents choosing either charter or homeschooling or anything other, in some cases, than traditional public schools. The high school transfer rule. It's a lot to navigate as a school board member now.
Gosh. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I've joked about that my time on the board has been the most tumultuous time ever. I mean, last time, and campaigning this year has been much different than it was 4 years ago because I was campaigning right in the middle of COVID. So you really couldn't give speeches, you couldn't visit people, you couldn't go door to door. None of the things that are traditionally done during a campaign were able to be done 4 years ago. I've been able to do that this year, but yeah, when we have tons of challenges, not only that we've already faced, and I think we've done a pretty good job of facing them, but we've got a lot coming. The craziness and the ideology of the left that keeps slapping us in the face, it's gonna hit us here in Putnam County. It's gonna hit our entire state. I think it already has, as you've seen in some places. So we have to keep good conservative folks on the board and keep fighting the good fight.
What do you hear from parents or grandparents when you're out on the campaign trail, Christian? What are they telling you?
Well, it's weird. It's mixed. You're always going to get some complaints and some issues, but mostly it's been positive. It's been keep up the good work. It's been pats on the back, and I greatly appreciate that. I mean, it's a tough and relatively thankless job, but I'm invested in this county. I've got 2 kids. I've got a stake in this game, and I've got 2 kids that I got to watch out for, along with everybody else's kids. We've got to provide the best possible outcome for our students and our teachers. So, but most of the feedback has been positive. I'm really appreciative of that.
You mentioned that your wife is a teacher. What kind of insight does that give you in being married to an educator? Because, I mean, I know when you come home at the end of the day, maybe the last thing you want to speak about is education. but what kind of insight do you get from your wife?
Well, she's a preschool teacher at Winfield Baptist, and she could teach in elementary schools, but she's chosen to stay. She started there, and she's chosen to stay there. It's tough, man. I tell you, I have an appreciation for what teachers do after talking to her every day about the challenges she faces, and it's everything from parents to students to you have it, but whatever that is. But she genuinely loves it. She loves the kids. She would miss anything that, if she ever left the teaching profession, she'd miss terribly what she gets from those students. There's so much reward in it. So the insight I get is how rewarding it can be, but how tough it really is. And we have to support our teachers.
Right, and teaching, whether it's on the public school level or a private school or whatever, I mean, teachers are asked to do so much more, Christian, than what they were when I was in school. I mean, they're now, in addition to A's and B's and X's and O's or whatever, they're also social workers. They're also dietitians. There are also so many other things because of society now, the way society is.
Absolutely, and then also back in our day when we were in school, there was no social media. So now I see parents going online all the time and complaining and criticizing these teachers, and that's awful to see, in my opinion. Whether it's deserved or not, these teachers deserve our support, and they're not ever going to make every right decision every time. But we have to support them. We have to do whatever we can to try to help these folks because it is such a thankless job at times.
We're talking with Christian Wells, again, candidate for re-election to the Putnam County Board of Education. Do you have a website or social media or anything like that you'd like to plug?
I don't currently. No, I've never set that up. I'm on Facebook, though. I put everything out there on Facebook that I can, and hopefully everybody will like and share it.
All right, this is the final 30, as I call it, Christian. Why should someone vote to re-elect Christian Wells to the Putnam County Board of Education?
Well, if you are a true conservative, you want to keep conservative values on the school board, I'm the only choice in my district. I would also recommend Chuck Hatfield, but if you want true conservative voices, those are your guys.
All right.
I appreciate your vote.
Well, Christian, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here. Best of luck.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your time.
It is 9:17. Phone calls for the Dave Allen Show. A service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by. Farm to table, Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting service is provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. Find the perfect over-the-counter hearing aid at Fruth. With NuvaMed hearing aids, plus Fruth makes it easier to transfer your prescription services to them. Fruth is your hometown family pharmacy. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruth Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. I got a couple texts here. I wonder what his take was as a texter on banning books and criminally charging librarians, says a texter. Texter says he said the student chose Putnam County Schools over Mason. Is this student athlete and did this play a role? I think he's not talking about a particular. Well, I guess maybe he was. Yeah, I don't know. Text says parents, students, and whatever. This guy really has a finger on the pulse of challenges in education, says the texter. Texter says nearly all statistics reveal that the best school districts are populated with families that have involved parents. Involved parents create kids that are more apt to learn and excel, which then attracts better teachers. The better teachers seek out school districts with strong families. Locally, the facts reveal that teachers who are residents of Kanawha County are on waiting lists to teach in Putnam County. It makes their job easier and makes them look better, says a texter. It is 9:19. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please shop locally. They're also hiring. Stop by any location for details. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. We're going to take a break. We're back after this from the Parmar Store Studio. It's the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Republican Eric Nelson is the candidate for state senate that Kanawha County families can count on. Senator Eric Nelson has helped create thousands of good-paying jobs and voted to give West Virginians the largest tax cut in our state's history. Voting for Eric Nelson, you know what you get. Better roads, more jobs, lower taxes, and the best education for our children. Eric Nelson supports West Virginia conservative values. Vote to re-elect Senator Eric Nelson. Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Nelson.
We are professional grade. If you're up for the challenge, then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile and get treated like a pro with the best deals on new GMC Sierra trucks and the new 2024 GMC Terrain. Go pro, but don't prolong. Qualified buyers can enjoy 3.9% for 60 months or an additional purchase allowance of up to $2,250 and no payments for 90 days. Get on the move. Go pro with Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville, and ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. After GM Financial, visit Thornhill for all details.
According to USA Today, 1 in 7 children in West Virginia face food insecurity issues. Hi, I'm Jason Quintrell, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. There are some obstacles our children face with access to food despite many feeding programs available. That is why Union Mission has partnered with some local middle schools to place food directly into the hands of children who need it. Help us remove those obstacles and help feed our kids. Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
Are you changing jobs or gearing up for retirement? Don't navigate your financial journey alone. At 4th Avenue Financial, we specialize in guiding individuals through life's transitions. From optimizing your retirement savings to managing your investments, we're here to provide expert advice every step of the way. Schedule your free consultation with John Burdett and take control of your financial future today. 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through Jenny B. Cole Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny B. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
West Virginians need strong conservative fighters we can count on to stand up and fight for our core values and protect our freedom. That's why we need to keep Eric Nelson in the West Virginia Senate. Senator Nelson is a leading voice in Charleston, fighting for more West Virginia jobs and growing our economy. Senator Nelson also passed the largest tax cut in state history, putting more money back into the pockets of hard-working West Virginia families. As crime is paralyzing the rest of the country, Senator Nelson is standing alongside our police and local sheriffs, making sure they have the resources they need to keep our communities safe. And as the opioid crisis continues across our country, Senator Nelson is fighting for stronger penalties against fentanyl distributors and drug dealers, and better access to addiction treatment for West Virginians. Let's keep Eric Nelson in the Capitol pushing West Virginia forward. Vote to re-elect Senator Eric Nelson on May 14th. Paid for by Republican State Leadership Committee. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
922, the Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, brought to you by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds back at home tonight, weather permitting, of course. It's $2 Tuesday, presented by Embassy Suites and Breeze Airways. Perfect for families on a budget. $2 tickets, hot dogs, soda, popcorn. Plus, Wednesday and Thursday are Grand Slam school days. Kids from all over the state will be going to Gomart Ballpark for 10:35 a.m. games tomorrow and Thursday. For tickets, promotions, Dirty Birds gear, schedules, and more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. The boss, Dale Cooper, is our producer today. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. For the pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Gubernatorial candidate Chris Miller coming up a little bit later on in the show, as is Lera VanMeter, who is a family court judge here in Kanawha County, running for re-election. Text says, Dave, as a Putnam County guy, did you notice that our party, the Republicans, gerrymandered its own people on the north side of the county? Thanks to their redistricting, after this election, all the BOE and county commissioners will be from Hurricane or Winfield, except for the one ex-Sheriff Rhino commissioner, says the texter. I have not studied that. I will look into it. The West Virginia Intermediate Court of Appeals, the newest layer of the court system in the state, and it's the newest position on the ballot. Ryan White wants to join the court. He joins us now. Ryan, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you.
First, explain the Intermediate Court of Appeals. How does it work? Who uses it, et cetera?
Well, the Intermediate Court is a new court that was created about 3 years ago by the West Virginia legislature, and it's been in operation for about 2 years. It takes civil appeals, it takes family law, workers' comp, and administrative appeals. So the last three I mentioned come directly from those specific courts. It doesn't go to the circuit court anymore. So it has it's added an appeal for people that didn't want to take it to the Supreme Court, and basically lessen the load on the circuit court so that they can run more efficiently.
It was, and I hate to use the term controversial, because that means that that almost rings to the fact that some people didn't want it or whatever. But I will say that there was a lot of discussion that went into it when this was created.
Correct. I think certain people didn't think it was a wise use of taxpayer money to do, but the fact of the matter is we were the largest state that didn't have a intermediate court of appeals. So, in my opinion, it's not a bad thing to have.
And why do you want to be a part of it?
Well, I want to be a part of the Intermediate Court of Appeals because West Virginia needs a fair, unbiased, balanced judge that will follow the rule of law and protect people's constitutional rights. And I believe I'm the candidate that can do that. I have the experience through my let me start. I was that's going
to be the next question is your bio. So go ahead.
So I went to law school at WU College of Law in 2005. I'm a native West Virginian, and I was a clerk for Judge Goodwin back in 2005 to 2006 down here. And then I was a lawyer for Jackson Kelly for 6 years. In that time, I worked for the legislature, the Senate Finance Committee and the Senate Economic Development Committee for 3 sessions. And then I started a law firm with my dad back in 2012. Since I've been working at that law firm, White Law Offices, since then. In 2014, I ran for school board and was elected school board, and I ran for re-election 2 times since then, and I had to resign in order to run for this. I was president of the school board. I was elected president of the school board by my peers. I was also on the School Board Association of West Virginia and was elected the president of that as well. I've served on many nonprofit boards throughout West Virginia and the state, and my law practice is primarily building West Virginia up and making sure West Virginia has the best success it can with the infrastructure, bringing jobs to West Virginia, and I've practiced all throughout the state doing that. So,
what were some of the things maybe that I always like to ask this of any political candidate that's held one office and is aspiring to get to another one, what were there things that you learned in your time serving on the school board that you think will serve you well in the Intermediate Court of Appeals?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in the school board, especially the last 10 years, there's been some difficult decisions that need to be made, and I was part of that, and I had to make some tough decisions. I mean, I didn't make everybody happy, but you're not going to make everybody happy. So I think I showed that I was very even-keeled and listened to people and could take and was not someone even-tempered and did not try to impose my will on anybody. So that's something I learned. Also, the court is a governmental entity. People forget about that. They think that you only make decisions, but it's also a governmental entity that has a budget, and there's also administrative stuff. So my experience on the school board will also help with running the actual court and making sure that we are within budget and that the employees are going well. Hopefully that it will be a well-oiled machine.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in the state for asbestos and mold. Asbestos was banned in some building products, but not banned for all products in the U.S. Don't expose your family or workers to asbestos, mold, or lead paint. Get with Pinnacle Consultants. They offer real estate environmental assessments for hazardous materials and air quality. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can't hurt you. What is the average day like for somebody that's on the Intermediate Court of Appeals?
Well, from my discussion with the judges, the average day is you're reading a lot of briefs from the attorneys, and you're making sure that you're working with your staff to ensure that you make decisions. Now, they do have oral arguments, but those are once or twice a month. Mm-hmm. Only about 10% of those cases go for oral argument. So for oral argument, you're actually have the two attorneys argue, and it's about 5 minutes each, and you listen to them, then you're also compiling with the other judges as well, talking with them and making sure that they have you guys are focusing on the right issues when you're talking about the cases.
How's the campaign been so far? I mean, anytime that you're going for anything of a judicial type, whether it's what you're doing or whatever, it's a little bit different, than running for House or running for sheriff or mayor or whatever. How's the campaign been? Campaign's
been great. I've been all throughout West Virginia, and people I talk to,
because this encompasses the entire state. This is not divided like into districts or anything like that. You're serving Matewan as well as Martinsburg, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. It's a statewide election. It's the first election for the Intermediate Court, and a lot of me going around talking to people is explaining exactly what the Intermediate Court of Appeals,
kind of like you're doing today,
because most people don't even know what it is. Yeah. So, I'm going throughout the state. I've been to Martinsburg, Morgantown, Clarksburg, Wheeling, Weirton, just talking to people. And making sure they know, Beckley, making sure they know what it is and how it is important to everyone's life right now, and just providing awareness of my candidacy. And people have been very supportive and like what I like to say.
If you are elected to this position, what do you hope to do in the position? What would you like to see? It's relatively new. It's not like you're dealing with the Supreme Court, where you have decades and decades of history. So, what would you like to do if you win?
Well, if I'm elected, first thing I'm going to do, I won't take office until January 1. Mm-hmm. So, first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to continue to work at my law practice and continue to wrap up my law practice. I'm going to go and start talking to people and to certain entities throughout the state, and make sure that I'm aware of what they need on the court. For example, workers' comp and unemployment insurance. I can go and talk to the people that do that type of stuff and make sure that I get a better understanding of what they need with the court, and same with family law. I'll be doing that in the meantime. But what I want to accomplish is I want to make sure that the court continues to be expedient and people get their cases heard in an expedient manner. I want to make sure that the cases that we set some good precedent. That's the one thing that's advantageous for an Intermediate Court of Appeals, is that you have good precedent that lawyers can use and provide more certainty. So I want to make sure that precedent is solid, rock solid. and within the bounds of our law and Constitution, too.
You have a website or social media, anything you want to plug?
Yes. My website is ryanwhite4wv.com, and I have a Facebook page as well. It's just search Ryan White for Intermediate Court of Appeals.
Final 30, why should someone vote for Ryan White for the West Virginia Court of Appeals?
I think they should vote for me because I'm the only candidate that has actual experience in the judiciary. I served as a judicial clerk. I'm the only candidate that has experience making decisions as a former school board member. I'm also the only candidate that has worked for the legislature, so I know a thing about how the legislative process works, and I think that's going to be very valuable on the court.
All right, we wish you the best of luck, man. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Hang out with me just 1 second. It's 28 minutes away from 10. Special Olympics embodies the true spirit of sportsmanship, not merely about winning medals. It's about being a part of a team, practicing and competing together. The joy and fulfillment derived from these experiences are immeasurable as athletes find their confidence and self-worth through the shared pursuit of victory. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Dale Cooper is our producer today. We got Chris Miller lined up and ready to go next. We're back after this from the Parmar Store studio, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group. It's the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, the voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education. Paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
I received a call the other day from a woman. Her voice was shaking. She needed help. Her husband tragically was unable to call himself, but he had told her previously, if anything ever happens to me, call Morgan & Morgan. I was humbled and proud. And what higher honor could we receive than protecting someone's family after they're gone? Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Hey, this is Dave Allen for Parmar Stores. Between now and Mother's Day, stop by your participating Parmar store and ask your friendly Parmar associate about our special flowers for Mother's Day. You can purchase a special cardboard flower with your message on it to be displayed in the store for all to see. All proceeds will benefit the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. We love our moms and we love our kids at Parmar Stores. Promotion runs through Mother's Day at your favorite Parmar location. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Spring is here, which can only mean one thing. It's time for the 8th annual anniversary sale at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Hurricane. And to celebrate, Gene and Ryan have gone through every vehicle in their inventory and marked all of them down, and you don't want to miss out on these huge savings. Check this out. New Jeep Gladiators are now marked down with up to $11,000 off. New 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokees are marked down with up to $6,000 off, and 2024 Ram 2500 Laramis are marked down with up to $6,000 off. And if you're looking for something fun just in time for summer, Walker has more than 40 Jeep Wranglers in stock today. Now, these savings aren't just on new vehicles either. They've marked everything down on the pre-owned lot as well. Now, don't miss out on the huge savings or the celebration of 8 years of doing business the old-fashioned way by making friends at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Just take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
Oh, yeah!
24 away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com. To the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858 for the pharmacy text. 304-935-5008. Text says, ask him, talking about Ryan White, about his donor list. It's a who's who of organized labor and plaintiffs' attorneys. Text says, Ryan White has always been a voice of reason on the Kanawha County School Board. Listen to all sides, and he's well-versed in policies and laws. He also answers emails and phone calls, says a texture. Dale Cooper is our producer today. 1 week from today, West Virginians will go to the polls, if they haven't already done so, in the form of early voting. Voters will go to the polls and have a choice to make for a Republican nomination for governor. Chris Miller hopes your choice will be for him. He joins us now via the Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline. Chris, good morning. Where are you this morning?
Morning, Dave. I'm in Huntington now, but on my way to Bridgeport, Clarksburg, and Morgantown for the rest of the afternoon. So moving a million miles an hour and having a blast.
1 week from today is when we'll know who will move on. How are you feeling about it?
You know what? I've spent 15, 16 months traveling around the state, getting to know people, and it's been an absolute spectacular experience. One of the things that I've learned is that people are dying for a conservative Christian business guy to run things. And that's exactly what I am. I mean, I'm a business owner, I'm a boxer, I'm a bison farmer, and built 26 businesses, have 700 employees. And, Dave, if I ran my businesses the way the government spends our tax dollars, I'd be broke. And the most appealing thing to voters when I talk to them is that I go about this with a plan, and it's really, really simple. On day one, we're going to audit every single dime. On day two, we're going to make sure and implement drug testing for welfare benefits, because your tax dollars should never go to make drug dealers rich. And it also allows us to identify problems, people that need help, and get them the help that they need, and also direct resources to the kids, because that really is what this is all about. And day three, we're going to get all the lawmakers in the room without special interest and without lobbyists, and we're going to get rid of the income tax. And then that's when West Virginia is going to take off, because we're surrounded by 5 states, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and that doesn't include D.C., which is nearest too. And all of them are high tax, and all of them have an income tax. We get rid of the income tax, we are going to take off, because that gives us a competitive advantage.
You talked about that, and again, we're talking with Chris Miller, Republican candidate for governor. You've talked about the elimination of the income tax, and you say that on day 3 that you're going to get everybody together to work on that. I mean, can that be done? Is it that simple? And if it's that simple, why hasn't it already been done?
So that's the reason why I say day one we're going to audit every dime, because there's a lot of waste inside of government. We're going to make sure and find all the $300 hammers and every piece of equipment that's disappeared out of the back door to the Department of Highways. And then we're going to make sure that we have a system that manages the people's tax dollars in a much more efficient way. Dave, you and me are taxpayers. Everybody out there listening is taxpayers. And the government wastes our money, and that's one of the definite things we got to stop. So you find all the waste, and you get rid of the income tax, wham, you can just take off.
Talking to Chris Miller, again, Republican candidate for governor. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Fresh Air. They'll change those heating and cooling unit air filters for your home, your retail or industrial business, restaurant, church, and they can also custom build filters for you. 24-hour emergency service available. Visit freshairfilters.us or call 304-440-1104 for Fresh Air, because everyone deserves fresh air. Let's talk about the drug testing of welfare recipients. That's something that I don't think, if you did a poll, I think the majority of people would say, okay, I'm fine with that. But across the country, the courts have had a tendency to say a little bit different about that. How will you tackle that? Because it will go to court.
Well, you got to have good attorneys, and where you can control stuff, in particular, is at the state level. And this is just one of the many examples of all the waste of our tax dollars that people are tired of. We don't want our tax dollars going. Like, you and me are susceptible to drug testing any time. All of our employees are susceptible to that. Anybody in the union has to pass drug testing to work. Why in the world will we let people that aren't working, that we're paying to stay at home, have to go through something totally different? We got to hold them accountable just like everybody else, and it doesn't ever benefit people to use drugs. And I don't want my tax dollars, Dave. I don't want my tax dollars to go to make drug dealers rich. And I also don't want my tax dollars to be soaked up by people that are using drugs as opposed to taking care of their own kids. It is a principle thing, and it's worth fighting for.
It seems, Chris, that no one this election cycle likes the polls unless it shows them in the lead. Where are you on the polls so far?
Well, so elections are always about the people, and I think the political class forgets that. And I'm a very, very, very hard worker, and all I've done for the past 16 months is work and talk to as many people and as many voters as I can. And that is what elections are always about. At the end of the day, it's about the voters, and the voters are going to speak. And we know that voters are looking for a conservative Christian business guy to run things, and they like the fact that we're going about it with a plan. You already heard our 3-day plan. And they also, they're dying for something different because, man, Dave, we are dead last in everything from economy to education. The only thing we're first place in is the number of grandparents raising grandkids and also cancer rates. We've got this good old boy system that's been running our state for far too long, and people are dying to have a seat at the table. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the outsiders the insiders and the insiders the outsiders and make sure everybody's got a seat at the table. And then we're going to start running government like a business. We're going to create an economy that thrives, going to do everything I can to get wokeism completely and utterly kicked out of our school systems because I've got an 11-year-old daughter, and I don't want her sharing a locker room with a biological male. And you start doing this stuff, you start speaking from the heart and telling the truth, people are dying for that, man. They really are. And so I like where we're sitting. I like our chances, and I have faith in the voters.
It's been somewhat, Chris, of a nasty campaign between the leading four, yourself, Mac Warner, Patrick Morris, and more cabinet. Apparently no one's heard of Ronald Reagan's commandment that thou shalt not speak ill of other Republicans. Are you surprised about the level of nasty that's been in this Republican primary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's about $15 million in out-of-state attack money that's been placed on me from Club for Growth, all supporting Patrick Morrissey. And this is the perfect example of what people are sick and tired of. We're tired of being sold. And we've been sold down the river in the opiate settlements. We've been sold down the river when it comes to negotiating with outside businesses. And now we're being sold down the river to outside special interest. And this is the big deal. We need to take these outsiders like business owners, farmers, educators, laborers, everybody, and we need to take all the insiders, the special interests, the lobbying and that kind of stuff, and make them the outsiders and make sure that everybody's got a seat at the table. And that's how you run good government, right there.
Chris, before we let you go, when you were recording the famous TV commercials, and let's face it, your TV commercials are a big part of why your dealerships have been such a big success over the last few years. Did you ever think in the back of your mind, okay, maybe at some point these may come back to haunt me? Or was it just, hey, this is just some guys having fun trying to sell some cars? Did you ever think it would be used against you?
Well, one of the best things about people in West Virginia is everybody's got a sense of humor. We have some of the best people
I begin to wonder about that sometimes, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, we got a great sense of humor, man. And the voters in West Virginia know that. The people that have seen those commercials for so long, they laugh, they get it, they understand. And it's what we do. We strive to entertain. And so I'm not worried about that in the slightest. Now, yeah, they do try to twist it into something that it isn't, but hey, voters are smart. They figure this stuff out, and we always have a good time. I strive to entertain with the automotive commercials, and what I'm doing with the political stuff is I want to make sure and send good messages that come from my heart to the people in West Virginia so they know exactly where I stand, because people are dying for the truth, and they're dying to know what really is real. And at the end of the day, West Virginia has an incredible opportunity in front of it. We just need to run government more like a business, start auditing every dime, treat taxpayers like customers, get rid of the income tax. And here's the icing on the cake, Dave. Being a business guy, I think assets, liabilities, equity. When you outline West Virginia's assets all down, all the coal, all the natural gas, the potential for rare earth elements were uncovered in the South. We've got more potential to produce power through geothermal heat than Saudi Arabia can generate in BTUs and natural gas, and we have an incredible amount of water. You get rid of the income tax. You leverage all these resources to drive down the cost of power by 70%. You use that for the foundation of all of our economic growth and development. We're going to take off. But then you think about Jim and Susie Adkins. They're on Social Security and they're 70 years old. You cut their power bill by 70%, you've done something incredibly impactful for them too. And that, in my mind, is what good government is. There's no reason why we're not the richest state in the country. The only reason is because we let politicians and attorneys and bureaucrats run things as opposed to business guys. Look at what Trump was able to do in D.C., created one of the greatest economies on the history of planet Earth, and we had no wars. Business guy knows what he's doing. You let me get in charge of running the government, I'll work at a relentless rate, I'll run state government like a business, and I'll do something for our people, because I'm sick and tired of sitting back and watching politicians fail us over and over again. Every problem that we face is because of politicians. Everything can be solved if you just start creating an economy that thrives. Get rid of the income tax, drive down the cost of power by 70%, audit every single dime that we spend, run government like a business, create an economy that thrives, and it solves the biggest problem we face. Because right now, our biggest export is not our coal or our natural gas. Our biggest export is our kids. And that's the problem that we have to solve at the end of the day.
All right, Chris, we wish you the best of luck. We'll talk again soon, man. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on, man.
13 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, please know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today for more information. Let me see. Text says, I feel as though it will take longer than 3 days to implement his plan. Says the texter. Texter says, as a registered Democrat, I have to say I love Chris Miller's agenda plan. Says the texter. Texter says, does Chris not realize his ads are part of the nasty you both are talking about? Text said, why did Chris Miller not support Donald Trump in 2016? Text says, it's so nice of you to run cover for your best buddy. He's such a snowflake and he's protected from hard questions. Says a texter. My best buddy. Text says, everyone running for office talks about cutting utility bills. How is that going to be possible with the PSC constantly approving rate increases? Says a texter. Texter says, that was the best Chris Miller interview I've ever heard. I'm voting Chris Miller for governor. I like when Chris said he wants to make the insiders the outsiders and the outsiders the insiders. Says the texter. Let me say this before we go to break. I did not attend last night's Charleston City Council meeting, but I did watch it online, pretty much routine stuff until the end when it came down to the parts where the mayor opened the floor to council members to pretty much say whatever's on their mind. 3 spoke on the Ty Hunt situation. By the way, Jarrett Lewis, an in-depth story posted on last night's council meeting, WVMetroNews.com and at WCHSnetwork.com. Ty Hunt did return to paid medical leave effective yesterday. Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass, longtime critic of the Goodwin administration. And by the way, thanks to Shannon for the shout-out about the show on council floor last night. Councilwoman Beth Kearns, Councilwoman Janine Faegre also speaking with Faegre, saying the whole thing is like beating a dead horse. Kearns and Snodgrass, particularly Snodgrass, again with harsh words for the mayor and the administration's handling of the Hunt situation. Again, you can read more about it, WVMetroNews.com and at WCHSnetwork.com as well. Text says, wow, does he appreciate that his mom is in that political category? Says a texter. Back after this, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan. If you're injured, hire Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Mark Carter is the true conservative running for House of Delegates in District 57. Mark Carter has a conservative record and has served Presidents Trump and Bush.
I am Mark Carter, and I am grateful to be endorsed by the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the manufacturers, hospital, bankers, home builders, coal, and oil and gas associations, and West Virginians for life.
Vote for the true conservative. Vote for Mark Carter for House of Delegates. Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
This is Miss Lindsay. I've been coughing because of all the smoke Pat Morrissey's opponents have been blowing at West Virginia voters, distorting Pat's proven conservative record. Here are the facts. As Attorney General, Morrissey was successful in protecting West Virginia energy jobs from Biden's EPA regulators. Pat Morrissey is defending the right of women only in women's sports in federal court. Pat has strongly supported the God-given right of parents to protect children from dangerous surgeries and hormone blockers. Pat Morrissey, a proven conservative record of defending our pro-life laws and the Second Amendment. Pat Morrissey will be a strong, independent, and proven conservative leader as governor. No free advice from Washington, no on-the-job training, and no more smoke. Just proven results.
Elect Patrick Morrissey governor. Republican primary May 14th. Paid for by Patriotic Veterans, Inc., a 501c4 committee. Not coordinated with any candidate or campaign committee.
8 away from 10. If you haven't already done so, make sure you download the all-new Metro News TV app. Enjoy your favorite Metro News programs, Talk Line, Sports Line, Three Guys, and more. The new Metro News TV app for Apple TV, iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, and more. Metro News for your ears and eyes with the Metro News TV app. This election, the primary election, is big on the judicial front as well. Lera VanMeter is a family court judge, Kanawha County, hoping to be reelected. She joins us now in the Parmar Store studio. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave Allen. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Do you prefer Judge or Your Honor or Lera? Or
Lera is fine. Judge Lera. How about Judge Lera? How about that?
Give us your bio. Give us the background on you.
Kidoki. So I was born and raised in Mingo County. I'm a Mingo County girl from Williamson. Parents.
Now, wait a minute. Hold it. You pronounced it Williamson and not Williamson.
Williamson.
Okay, all right. I'm a Logan guy, so make sure you say Williamson.
All right, got it. Go ahead. Of course, born down there. Of course, been in Kanawha County now for quite a number of years, and I've practiced law here. Of course, I went to Virginia Tech undergrad. Please don't hold that against me. WVU Nation.
Everybody's got to go somewhere.
Exactly. Went to WVU Law School, practiced in Virginia for a little bit, came back to Charleston, been practicing here ever since. Married. My husband is Mark Kelly, who's a lawyer here in Charleston, Ray Winton and Kelly. And we have four-legged children, rescue. We're real big into rescue animals. We have 2 rescue labs and some cats. And that's I'm on the Humane Society's board of directors right now, and involved in community and rescue when I can, and that's a big passion of mine. So that's kind of the background. And I can do more. I can do less.
Well, let's talk about your time on the court.
Okay. All righty. So, I've been on the court. We were elected in 2016. Mm-hmm. I took the bench the beginning of 2017. I took Judge Schneider's place. He had retired and unfortunately passed away before he got to enjoy any of his retirement. So I have been on the bench ever since. Family court's tough. For a lot of people who don't know what we do in family court, it's all the divorces, it is all the child custody and all the domestic violence petitions. They start in magistrate court, but they end up in ours. So it's tough, Dave, but it's a good experience. I have a lot of experience being on the bench and dealing with these type of cases, but overall, it's a tough job.
And I'm thinking about this yesterday. Family court judge is one of those positions that you don't need or maybe don't even think about.
Correct.
Until you do.
Correct.
Until it involves you or your family member or a close friend or something like that.
Correct. And everybody's touched by it. What's interesting is a lot of the focus is on the big races like the circuit court particularly, mm-hmm. because that's where a lot of the money cases are and that's in the public a lot.
Right.
People don't think about family court. But Dave Allen, it matters. It matters who's on that bench because we deal with your children and your property. And sometimes it's not always in that order of importance to people, but that's what we deal with. So those are important issues. And I think the experience matters on the bench and having the knowledge and the experience to be able to listen to the cases, hear what people have to say, and make decisions within the law.
And I would think in family court, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to every possible story.
Absolutely. And what people also don't realize is we don't make the law. The legislature makes the law,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't like our decisions, and I get that. Nobody's happy walking out of family court, Dave Allen.
No.
I mean,
I would think not.
No, it really isn't. So I think that they always say if everybody's mad, you're doing your job. Well, it's not your goal to make people mad, but it's tough decisions you have to make. But the legislature makes the law on what we have to do. So if you don't like what the law is, you got to go somewhere else and get that changed up at the legislature, not us. So we do the best job we can. But you also have to remember, our cases are closed. So you can't walk in my courtroom. You can't know anything about my cases. I can't even defend myself to you about a case, about something that maybe somebody's mad at me and they're talking about me in public. I can't even defend myself and say, that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to remember, I can only make my decisions based on what you tell me and what you bring in my court. And if you don't tell me and you don't give me all the facts, then I don't know. And I can only make my decision on what I hear in court.
What is the biggest misconception in the public about family court?
Oh, gosh, the biggest misconception. Oh, what we hear a lot is, well, Jane Doe, you did this in Jane Doe's case. How come you didn't do it in my case? Well, Dave Allen, every facts are different. So everybody thinks that they should get the same outcome, if you will. But the facts in every single case are different. And what they don't tell you is all the backstory. So I think there's that big misconception of, well, you should get the same thing as your neighbor got. Well, your neighbor's facts are different than your facts and what evidence they bring the judge. So it's not the same. So I think that's a big misconception as well.
In your time on the court, and maybe this predates you a little bit, but we can, I'm sure you studied the history of the courts. What's the caseload like? I mean, compared to what it used to be? I would imagine with all the problems we have in society that it's doubled or tripled. I could be wrong about that.
Oh, Dave Allen, you are couldn't be more wrong. And I do know. So I'll give you for instance, and I believe this has to be due to the decline in population. Mm-hmm. Half. So, for instance,
I would have thought it would have been more.
Nope. So, I would say, say I'm looking at a 2014, 14D, 2000 and something. We're barely hitting 1,000 new cases a year.
That totally surprises me, and that's why I learn things on this show every day, because I thought it would have been more with the advent of drugs and all these other. So it's not.
No, not as far as new cases. Now that doesn't mean people aren't coming back in their old cases.
Okay.
And so we have mods and contempts. That's huge caseload as well. But again, as far as the number goes of new cases, it's half.
And mods, that means modification.
I'm sorry, yes, modification. Like maybe you need to modify your child custody. Because remember, anything with kids can be modified until the child is 18 and outgone. So you might want to modify your parenting plan. You might need to modify child support. Or maybe somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing and you have to have a contempt. So we still have those ongoing all the time.
You mean do you have an email or social media people can learn
I have a Facebook. It's Re-elect Judge VanMeter, Judge Lera VanMeter. It's on the Facebook. And I think there's a website attached to it as well.
All right. Final 30. Why should someone vote for Lera VanMeter for re-election to family court?
Because Lera VanMeter has the experience. I've been on the bench over 7 years. And Dave, I haven't always gotten it right. I've grown as a judge over the last 7 years. I've changed. And I think that comes with experience and knowledge. And I will continue to always do the best job I can. I will always try my hardest to get it right and do the best I can. But I am human. But when I lay my head down at night, I promise you I will have done the best job I can.
All right. I appreciate you being here. Hang out with me just 1 second as we close the show. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave Allen. Sure appreciate you.
All right, we got to go. Metro News Talk Line coming up at 10:06. Republican candidate for governor More Capito's on the show today. Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones, gubernatorial candidate and Secretary of State Mac Warner, Jonathan Savage and Jared Halpern from Fox News Radio. Talk Line with Hoppy coming up at 10:06 this morning. Coming up on this show tomorrow, candidate for House Debbie DeWeese will be here. State Senate candidate Chris Pritt is on the show tomorrow. Candidate for House Sarah Drennan, and candidate for Magistrate in Kanawha County Chad Smar on the show tomorrow as well. Dale Cooper was my producer today. Thank you so much, boss. Keep up with the news of the day, WCHSnetwork.com and WVMetroNews.com. And if you haven't done so already, download the Metro News TV app for all of your devices. Keep an eye on the weather, too. Could have some severe weather today. I will see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.